Hey, what's up guys? Today we're going to do a custom sneaker with an Air Jordan 1 High OG. Stay tuned. For custom sneakers, clothes, and collectibles like Supreme, check out sneakerpickers.com. Alright, well, something I enjoy doing is customizing. From cars, boats, bikes, whatever, you name it, I like to customize it. Today, we have a Jordan 1, which is probably one of my all-time favorite shoes. Air Jordan 1 High OG Defiant. I'm going to go ahead and tape off these soles to protect them. The top of the sole definitely has an edge. I want to get that tape as close to that edge as possible. Just past the edge a tiny bit, because then I could push the tape into the edge and kind of fold it over. I'm going to bring this over here and you'll see I'm going to put it right on this top edge here. Let me do this. Okay, see, I told you I get it up close to that edge there, right? And I take my fingernail and I just push all along that edge, tucking that tape and pushing it down with my finger at the same time. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to go around this whole shoe. I'm going to do that. I'm going to get this all blue taped off, all protected, and then we'll start on the next step. I'll be right back. Alright, I went ahead and taped it all off. You guys can check that out. Made sure I got that whole sole taped off and protected, even the bottom. You know what? The more care, the more detail, and the more time you spend, and the more all that love, the whole 9 yards you put into it, the better looking it's going to come out. Acetone and cotton pad. You can try paper towels. I tried like rags and it was messy. Paper towels broke apart, got all over, had the flakes of paint all in there with it, you know, and it was a mess. So you put it on there, wet it. You got to be very careful where you put all that acetone. You don't want to get it all over in the red there. Try to push it all together and you can even peel it. Look, it even peels off. I suggest being nice, neat, and clean and keeping this all together and peeling it rather than going crazy with it and scrubbing everywhere and getting it all flaky like, you know, like this. Because what's going to happen is it's going to get all over and it's going to be a mess. Trust me, I know from experience. I went that route. It doesn't work well. The next step's going to be deconstructing the upper. I'm going to take the seam ripper and work on these seams right here. I'm going to take all the stitches out. A seam ripper makes this work quick and easy. All you do is slip that little tool up underneath the stitches. You can see them there. There's like little loops, right? So we're just going to stick the seam ripper right inside each one of those loops and cut, go all the way down, all the way around. There she is, all done. You can see it's separated now. It's got like the little flap. We'll go ahead and just clean that up and it'll look beautiful. The next step is going to be cutting some suede to fit on these pieces here. I'm going to add a little bit of suede. It's a different texture. I'm going to do something a little bit different. So I have to create some patterns. We'll put blue tape on the shoe and then we'll have a pattern that's made from the blue tape. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take that pattern, lay it out on the suede. Then I'm going to get a really nice pair of scissors. I'm going to cut it out. You can see that the pattern was originally tape. So when I lay it on the suede, it just stays right in place. You can see it's cut out in a nice pattern now. I'll put it on the shoe just to make sure everything looks good. Then I'll go ahead and cut out the rest of the pieces that I need. After that's all done, I'll put that aside for now. And I'm going to move to finishing off the inside of the shoe. We're going to use the Angelus paint, light blue, and Angelus soft mixed together. I get a few coats of paint on there and then realize how it's all scrunched together and I'm not getting in between some sections. So I set it up on a rig just like this just so we can paint the whole entire inside and it looks nice and uniform and everything looks good. Here's Kyle working away. You know, I always say the worst part about customizing shoes is there's two of them. So it does help if you do have help and you have somebody else and give you a hand and work on one shoe while you're working on the other one. Here I am. I'm finishing up the shoe. After the inside's all done, I'm going to go ahead and just airbrush the whole entire outside. The key to airbrushing is going to be real light, thin coats. And use multiple coats, that's all. Then it'll come out looking beautiful. Alright, as far as paint goes, everything's pretty much all tightened up. She looks good. Now it's going to be ready to put the suede pieces on there. One last time, I'll go ahead and put the pieces on the shoe, lay them out, make sure everything looks good. But before I put them on there, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to treat the pieces. So let's go bring them outside and take a look at what I need to do. When I cut the pieces out, I put tape on one side of them. What's going to happen is when I take that tape off, it's going to take off any little pieces fur on the suede. It's going to take off any impurities, anything that shouldn't be on there. And it's going to give it a nice black finish. It's going to look really good after I take the tape off. That's going to be the finished side. I'm going to make sure I keep that side up, and that's when I'm going to spray the... Well, it's not a finish. It's going to be protectant. We're going to use two different protectants. The first protectant is going to be this Fabric Crafts Protector. It's made by Scotchgard. It's a 3M product. You go ahead, shake it up real good, and then spray it over all the suede as much as possible. Very, very liberally, let's put it that way. You can see how it comes out of the can, just shoots right out of there and coats it all. It's going to wet it pretty good. So you wet it up real good, and then you leave it sit there and dry. It'll cure. It's almost like paint. It's not gonna be hard like paint because it's not a coating. It's gonna actually soak into the suede, and it's gonna help protect it. Now that's the first coat of protectant I like to use. After I use the protectant coat, I like to move on to this stuff here. This is a water barrier coat. The water barrier coat or water protectant is another 3M product. If any water hits that suede, it's going to ball off. It's not going to soak into the suede. And it's very, very important. Between these two protectants, it's going to help keep that suede clean. More than likely, if you have any dirt or anything like that, it's going to roll right off the suede now. And it's going to help keep that shoe look beautiful for a long time to come. These are the small details that I pay very close attention to and that I care about. I care about how these shoes are going to look 2 years from now. Because, you know, people are going to wear them. It is what it is. That's what they're made for. So we want to do our best to help protect those shoes. I put the suede on, lace them up, and these puppies are done. That's all I got for you today. Have a good day. Have a good night. Have a good whatever it is, wherever you're at. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.